Welcome back to Aisha's Academy, and today we're doing circles, but this time sectors and arc length. So let's get right into it. So here's our circle again, and this time I'm going to cut out something called a sector, which is basically like the pizza slice out of a pizza. Call that the sector. And we would have to work out something called the area of the sector. And the equation for this is pi times r squared multiplied by theta over 360. And so the r is our radius, which we saw in the previous circle video up above in the link, and then our theta is maths, basically meaning the angle. And notice how the pi r squared is the area of a circle, so the area of a sector is basically a fraction of the area of the circle, which makes sense. And then that line, like the pizza crust part, is called the arc, and in order to work it out is called arc length. So the formula for that is pi d times theta over 360, or another way of working it out is pi times 2 times the radius times theta over 360. And the reason why there's two different ways is because, remember, if you click on the link above, but the working out the circumference of a circle, there's two ways of working it out, and our arc length is basically a fraction of the circumference, which is why there's these two ways of working it out. So without further ado, let's crack on to some practice questions. So question 1, aka example 1, in this scenario it wants us to work out the area of the sector. We've been given the radius and we've been given the angle. So the first thing I'm going to do is write out the formula just to refresh your memory, which is the pi r squared multiplied by r theta over 360. Then, once you've always written out the formula that you're always going to use in maths, substitute. So that's going to end up being pi times 15 squared. And then that's going to be multiplied to our theta, which is 30 over 360. And if you put that all into your calculator and round it to three significant figures, you should get an answer of 58.8 centimeters squared, because we're dealing with area. So having a look at example 2. So in this lovely question, we're going to be working out the arc length, aka the pizza crust. So I'll write out the formula for that. So in this example, they've given us the radius, and so because of that, we're going to end up using the 2 pi r times theta over 360 rather than the pi d. So in order to know which one you're going to use, it's always based on what they've given you. So I'm just rewriting out the formula, because I always like to write out formulas first before I substitute. Then I would substitute my values, so it's going to be 2 times pi, so that bit's not going to change. But we're going to substitute r for the radius, which is 7 centimeters, so that's going to be multiplied to 7. And our theta is 40 degrees, so that's going to be multiplied to 40 over 360. And literally just input all of this into your calculator, round your answer to three significant figures, and you should be left with an answer of 4.89 centimeters. And the last question we're going to look at as an example, in example 3, is going to work out the area of the shaded region. They love to do this in maths. So the first thing that you want to do basically is you want to work out the area of the sector, because that's the bigger shape. So what I've done is I've labeled the radius of the sector and the length of the triangle. So the first thing that we're going to do is work out the area of the sector as mentioned. So I'm just going to substitute straight away. So that's going to be pi times 7 squared times, so normally it's multiplied by theta over 360, but here they haven't written down the angle. But one thing I want you to know is it's written that it's an equilateral triangle. So in an equilateral triangle, all the angles are the same, and in a triangle, all the angles are 180. So equilateral, they'd be split equally, so that's why it's 60 degrees. So that would be the formula for working out the area of the sector. Then in order to work out the area of the triangle, because it's a non-right angle triangle, it's a non-right angle triangle, so we're going to end up using the formula half AB sine C. So remember, we use that for triangles that are not right angle triangles. So it's going to be half And then the AB is basically 2 of the lengths in the triangle, so times 7 times 7 times sine 60. So our big C is the angle. So that's the formula for that. So working out the shaded region, we would have to do the area of the sector minus the area of the triangle, which would leave us with a shaded region of 42.138 and so on. So now to work out the percentage of the shaded region out of the sector, we would have to do the shaded area divided by the area of the sector multiplied by 100, because we're dealing with percentage, and you'd be left with 66.5%. And that's it.